I got a feeling that you got me covered too. I got you covered. I got you covered.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I did a test a little bit because I wanted to see how long this computer was going to take to get up and running, and it's no time at all. I mean, literally. The other computer, I have to give it a half an hour to warm itself up, even with the 3-degree weather outside and feeling like 6 degrees or -6. It warms up like a breeze. It's so wonderful. But I was like, well, let me just see how long it's going to take to actually warm up, and it does beautifully. Warms up like like an absolute charm. I have the computer, or not the computer. I have the stream um, going out afterwards because my other keeper will be on at 7 o'clock Eastern and 6 o'clock Central Time. Um, I I know that the daily devotions haven't been done. I have to look over here, which is going to get fixed on Thursday. We're going to do a stream on Thursday because it's Josh's birthday on Thursday, so we'll wish him happy birthday. I have to do the daily devotions for yesterday and today. Um, Unfortunately, I have been hit with a really high pain level. We're all adults. When you're a fibromyalgia patient and you're dealing as a woman, there are times where it really can absolutely knock you for a loop. And this knocked me for a loop. I've been very tired. The pain is a little bit more reduced today. Hi, Alfonso. How are you? Hi, Carrie. How are you? It's a lot better reduced today than it was yesterday. Yesterday, I was just like in no mood, pain wise. But I'm just cannot keep awake. I'm sure it shows on my face. It is what it is. I probably look tired to everybody, and I am. I usually, when I'm hurting, will pull out the crochet hooks, but I didn't even feel like pulling out those. So when I don't want anything but to be cuddled underneath a blanket and do nothing and not even pull out the crochet hooks, I know I am I know where my where I am, and I know that I just need to rest. So that's what I've been doing, but I thought I know I was going to do this stream yesterday, and I felt really bad because I wanted everybody to make sure that they had a place to come to last night. And I literally just could not muster up the strength to come and do it. But I just kind of wanted to talk today. And again, as I said yesterday, we're not going to get any political ends or political sides. This is not going to be a divisive subject. But I hope everybody gave everybody grace yesterday, whether whatever side of the aisle you were. You either wanted yesterday to happen or you didn't want yesterday to happen. And uh, we needed to be extending grace. Yeah, you couldn't do your stream while we were out, so I celebrating Josh's birthday, so it all worked itself out. um, we we it didn't matter what side of the aisle was. I hope that people that wanted yesterday to happen extended grace to people and realized that we needed to, as if the other side had won for them, we would hope that the other side would have done that. Um, People that didn't want it to happen, I hope that you know they got that grace extended to them. We need to all come together and and stick together, um, and realize that this country, whatever it is, we can do a lot in our own communities. Um, There's a lot that can be done that we can help with, certain aspects of our community. I don't think sometimes we're as involved as we should be. And there are some people that cannot be as involved as they would like to be. But I think that we can do a lot, maybe that we don't even realize that we can do. One of the things that I am planning, yep, I do agree with that, Alfonso. That's my view. Um, that may not be everybody else's view, and we again, we try on our lives to never be feeling like our views are the only way, and not be divisive. We want to honor all that. Um, and never make anybody feel as if that's the only to us, that's the only way. But we also, personally, but we don't want anybody to feel like, well, I can't come in there because they believe that and they're going to, tear me down if I believe something else. No, we won't. That will never happen here. Um, but we can get there is so many things we can do in the sense of look into your community. One of the things that when I have some projects that I need to finish up and so forth. And one of the things I was thinking about doing was I have leftover yarn, and one of the things when I go on live with when Alfonso does his live, the thing I was starting to think about doing is some of those lives, taking some of my leftover yarn and starting to crochet some scarves. And at the end of the year, be able to count how many scarves I was able to do, and be able to donate those. If you're looking for a place to donate, Gail's Southern Living Broken Hearts Ministry. If you're a crocheter, does accept things because she works with the homeless. Maybe there's a place in your area that has that. That would be a great thing to be able to. Hi, Helena. How are you? Thank you very much. I didn't know the boat was going to be on, or I may not have come on, but um, I also wanted people to know I'm doing okay. I'm just really tired. You probably all can hear it in my voice. Um, I, 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 I just am really tired. There's just no other way to say it. I'm exhausted. Um, but that's Broken Hearts Ministry. If you're a crocheter and you would like to think about, you've got some leftover yarn, I've got some, and I'm thinking that would be a great use of it because there's colors that I won't use for anything, or I've got this and this will go with this color. So I was thinking about trying to do a little bit of. Hi, Jackie, how are you? Um, Melting a bit, otherwise pretty decent. Thank you. I know you've been under the weather. I hope you're feeling better. Um, but it's just something to think about is, if you can't do much, maybe that's something. If you've got leftover yarn, you could just say, okay, I can take a really simple scarf. I probably won't do many hats, but I can do scarves, and those would help. We can there's a grandparents program, and we didn't get involved with it this year, but I'd like to do it next year. Um, is to get involved with the local, it's called a grandparents program. And what you do is you start writing letters to uh, the to kids in school. They pair you up with somebody, and then you write letters back and forth, and then that way you can be able to at the end of the year they have like a well, Broken Hearts Ministries, Jackie, is one place that will accept donations for things like that. And I was thinking she's on YouTube. That's why I dropped her link. That's Gail. That's with Gail Southern Living. So if you're someone that does have leftover yarn, that's an option. Maybe you have a homeless community in your area that you could put like a little bag together with a hat and a scarf and some things, some necessary things that could go in a little bag. Maybe if you're with your church, you could put a track in there. But the other program I'm talking about, you check in your area, is they're coming in. Hi, my life, sunny side up. How are you? Um, is that we're going to do it this next year, but they connect you with kids in the local school, and you write letters back and forth, and then that way you write letters back and forth, and then at the end of the year they do what is it? They do like a pizza party, and you get to meet the person you've written the letter with. And then it helps them with it helps them with, what is it? It helps them with grammar, and it helps them with grammar. And then it also helps, um, you just make that connection. So that's something. So there's things within our community that we can look at doing that can help, you know, kind of help within our community. I think a lot can be done for all of that. And I'm trying to stay on track, guys. I feel like I'm all scatterbrained today, and I hope everybody understands. I could go back to sleep. It drives me up a wall. Helene says anyone overseas can try to look at LOKI. If for the local homeless shelters, soup kitchens, take a type of place and ask if they accept donations. I make beanies for them in the autumn and winter just to make sure I'm sure she'll finish. Did I drop? You're welcome. Just to make sure they accept donations. Just sure that they accept donations, because they often have limited space and cannot store or afford to dispose excess unused items. It's wonderful to know. Another place that you can look at too is, if I get it right, it is called Lasagna Love. And that is another place I know we have looked into it a couple times. And I remember having them do it for my aunt. My aunt she couldn't handle doing it, or putting in the request for it. But they will provide a lasagna. Um I only don't know how many times she did it, whether she did it once or twice. I can't remember. Hold on, I gotta close some of these tabs. But if you're in your local area, and we have never received it because we live in such an area that they don't have anybody in this area that's doing it. But that may be, if you feel like you can do the lasagna, or if you need it. That is a resource that I know for my aunt, um, who has the cancer. When she first had it, I filled out the application, and I think it was Christmas Eve, not this year, but the year before. And they had somebody, uh, I filled out the application, and Christmas Eve, she had somebody knocking on the door, calling and saying, "We're here to bring you a lasagna." So that may be an organization if you live in a small town. Like I said, we've applied to have a lasagna, but unfortunately our town is so small, and I would love to be able to do something like that. I just know physically I can't. But there's a resource if anybody's looking for that. The Josh ordered the supplies. Here, I'll show y'all. So you can see it. This was Christina's old TV. Okay. So this is the monitor that we originally wanted to use. This is a 24-inch one. And unfortunately, we couldn't find the power cord for it. We don't know where the power cord is. The one we currently have set up is a 32-inch monitor, which is huge. I feel like it's huge to look at. And we're on Thursday. The power cord was like $10 on the YouTube. Hi, Sandy. On the Amazons. So we ordered that because we don't know where the power cord is. So on Thursday, we'll be flipping and putting that white monitor currently in its place, and we'll be flipping the old computer. The old computer is sitting here. The camera's sitting right in front. So I have to look at the old computer, which is not on. And I have to look at that camera, so it makes it look like I'm looking into the camera, but I have to look over here still for the chat. But we're going to flip them so that the old computer is here, which has to still be plugged in, just in case we need anything off it. And then we'll put the new monitor with the camera above there so that I don't have to look over there to see the chat. Oh boy. And right now, I put on, guys, just so you know, and maybe you can pull it up actually. I went in and I've got to order one for myself. But the desk is like a bamboo desk, so it has holes in it. You just use whatever you have. So I needed a mouse pad real quick. I had that laying around. I needed something flat. But I did put a couple mouse pads on the merch store in case anybody was interested. I did a couple. And boy, I'm telling you, just even loading up in the merch store was like so much easier and so much simpler. It was wonderful. It was like, this took no time. So I did upload a couple. We did into the merch store. We put one of Mocha. We put one of the Blessed Disco balls. We put anybody that needs one that has the yarn. We put the yarn one up. So I will be ordering one of those. We put Mocha up. It was really cute, the one we did for Mocha. If anybody needs a mouse pad, we got a Blessed to Crochet. We got a disco ball. We've got Scott. We've got Mocha. Which ones do we have? We have the yarn one. I think Scott, Blessed to Crochet, Mocha, the disco ball, and the yarn. So there's 5 different to choose from. So if anybody's looking for a mouse pad, they're over there. And the one for the disco ball came out really cool because it's all black and it pops like you can't believe. So, but it's over there, and I'll be ordering one of those. But anyway, it was like, thank you. I was like, okay, how long is it going to take me to warm this? This computer just warmed right up. I was like, so thankful. So I hope everybody is doing well. And see if I can show pictures of it real quick so you guys can see. This is the one with the disco ball. I have to remember it's on this camera. This is the one with the disco ball. I think that came out really cool. So there's several in there, but I've got to order one. I thought I'm going to order one of my own. If I do it, then I can, if I do the mouse pads, then I can actually order one. So I will be ordering one of our things so I can show you all. I just have to decide which one to order. It's going to be hard because there's a lot of them that are really cute. So, I just thought about it yesterday. I thought I wanted people to have a place to go to. to talk and feel like they had the connection happening, and I felt really bad that I had to bow out of that because it's not what I wanted to do. Um, but I knew that I was just beyond tired. I was really tired last night. I'm tired today. Um, like I said, the the devotions I will record at least the first one and the two, but I will do them separately. And I thought I uploaded the what was it? The Bible verse. I didn't even get that out yesterday. I was exhausted. So it'll take me a couple days to recover. Um and I thought, well, it's a good thing to be inside with it being it's 3 degrees outside with feeling -6. I've wondered if I throw water out there, will it actually free or I will actually see it. I thought about doing that. Um, but I just thought we have to remember that we're we have to remember that I know there's a lot going on and there's people that they're allowed to feel as if the way that they feel. No, it's not very many degrees. They have the right to feel how they feel, but at the end of the day, we can still give respect no matter what. We can be respectful about each other's views. And I really hope that, you know, putting everything aside, you can like Elon Musk or not, do however you feel. But I thought yesterday, I thought we should be as parents of those with autistic children looking up to people like Temple Grande. And I know I say her name wrong all the time, Grandin, and Elon Musk, and think for some of these children with autism, we should never put limitations on them. When when he went out on stage, you saw autism coming through to him. He has Asperger's. And for him to stand up there, I knew what was going on internally because I've raised a child with autism. And there are some children with autism that will never get to be able to live by themselves or on their own, maybe never able to talk, maybe never able to participate in society in the sense of holding a job and all that kind of stuff. And that's sad, but they're still amazing children and they can still give something to this world. And if, you know, and I have to remember that I did that with my own daughter at times, is I would put these these limitations on her because of her disability. And I remember that she's never going to get married. Look at her, she's married. And she has one job with the horses, and the lady has a child who works at another barn, an adult son who has autism. And the reason why she gets Christina is because she has raised one. And she goes to another job a couple days a week. I didn't think she could ever be a cashier, but she's a cashier, which absolutely floors me. Because I thought she could never handle that. It's amazing to think what she really could handle. But it I was I was at times unsure. And but the other job doesn't totally understand her. Sometimes she's not known of a policy or done something, and the way that they have come and corrected her was very different how the other place corrects her. They understand how to correct her because she has a son with autism. She handles it very differently. And that's why I say to people, even if you don't have somebody in your near area, you may not have a child with autism, you may not have or know somebody with autism, we all need to get familiar with it, guys. It is out there, it is around us. I can usually pick it up very quick, but it's because I've been immersed in it. And so if you're somebody that says, I don't know, I don't need to know it because I'm not dealing with anybody with autism. If you go to the grocery store, there may be a cashier who has autism. And if they're not looking you in the eye, it may not because they don't want to, but it's because they're really struggling because of the autism to be able to do that. It's an actually autistic trait. So we need to be aware of signs and symptoms and so forth and have some knowledge about it so that we can understand it. Um, and I think that it's necessary. Um, and I think for our kids, it's necessary to expose them to understanding those with disabilities so that they can realize they're just like them. They just are dealing with different things. And I think that lands to compassion and understanding and acceptance in ways when we don't expose them. And I can't even, I have to look here to read it. Is there an ARC advocate in the area? ARC fights for our rights to be a free society, but the state of Colorado still wants us locked away in an institution. She did have, Alfonso, when she first started working, she had somebody. She doesn't need that now. But I'm just saying the difference in the two jobs. It's not that they don't work with her and they don't understand, but they handle it differently. Um, and of course, it's a very different environment as the cashier in the grocery store as it is working in a barn where it's much more independent and the barn has become this, you know, uh, bunch of people that are knitted together to work. And of course, she's around horses, which is just lovely. But I love seeing people that came to Elon Musk's defense a little bit yesterday to say people realize he has Asperger's. Um, and I'm not getting into anything political, guys. I'm not. I really want to refrain from that. But my point with bringing that up is to not get anybody to sit there and get any political here or there or whatever, like them, not like them, that kind of thing. But just to say we need those types of brains in this world because they think in a very different way than other people. And we need all our different kind of the way our brains work, all those different, remember, go back to kind of the personalities, 16 different kind of personalities, right? 16 different kind of personalities. And if we remember that all those personalities work different, we need all those kind of personalities in our world. We need them to function and work and so forth. If we didn't have, you know, certain kind of brains, we may not have iPhones because they can put them together and computers and all this other kind of stuff. But it's one of the reasons why we talk about autism on this channel, and I hope that we're going to continue to talk about it because I really hope that people that are not surrounded by autism will come in and learn about it, because I really think that it gives you a understanding, because you will be surrounded by those dealing with autism. There's a young girl, and I'm going to see if I can reach out to her. I'd love to have her on the channel. I really would. And I've kind of started following her story, and she's on Facebook. And she's just a delightful little, no, she's not little anymore, delightful girl. She's a woman, young lady. She has Down syndrome. And she started making shirts. She owns her own business, creating these shirts and putting her artwork on the shirts. It's amazing to see what can happen when we don't put limitations on anybody and we just let them live their dream. Looking at the technology Musk has created and the jobs he has created, yes. I just know there are some people that don't like him, and that's fine. Um, but the more that we understand about uh, developmental disabilities, even if you're not having to live it, is really important. You know, understanding about, you may not have anybody in your life dealing with fibromyalgia, but why am I saying, why is it important to talk about it? It's important to talk about it because you may run up with somebody that has it. Um, when we put the post up last night, it says, listen, Mary's just not able to do this today and put fibromyalgia in, which was true. And said I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't do it. Um, People need to understand about that because if they understand about what somebody goes through, they may never have to deal with anybody in their lives that have fibromyalgia, but then there becomes this understanding. And it's not for anybody to sit there and say, poor me kind of thing. No, that's not it. But there there's a sympathy that comes when somebody in a chat and maybe the lifeboat or in here says, I'm dealing with fibromyalgia, and you guys kind of understand what it is to live it. You guys can have some understanding or sympathy. Or when you have a mother who comes in here or a father that comes in here that says, I'm dealing with an autistic individual, you may never have had to deal with that or had to raise a child with autism, but you can understand maybe what they've had to go through. If we take some time to understand, then it really helps. And one thing that I'm going to say, again, not getting into any political stuff, is this year as we're going through, don't believe everything you see on Facebook or everything you see in the news. Take some time and do your own little research. Take yourself time to do some research and just make sure that the facts on Facebook or the facts on whatever are accurate and true. Because sometimes we see things that are, Facebook or news and stuff, and it's not totally accurate, or it's been taken out of context here, or whatever it is. Or we're going through the YouTube streets, right? And people are saying things, and it will never happen here, about other content creators. And maybe they only have half of the story. They've taken something out of context. And so take your own time to just do a little bit of research, because we can't stick together if we're divided. If we're divided, we can't stick together. We've got to stick together and realize that everybody's going to have differing of opinion. Everybody is not always going to believe the same thing, but can we come together, find one thing to have in common with somebody? Maybe you differ in opinion here, but you both love crochet. We'll have those different opinion, but come together on that. If we find one thing that we can kind of say to each other, hey, listen, we both have that in common. You know what happens? When you grow the amount of things you have in common together, you find out you have more and more things in common with each other. If you take the time to get to know the person, don't just jump at conclusions. And I think that, we need to be here for each other. That's why having live chats are so important. It'll be something that never will not be here. We will always have live chats because I think it brings people together. Has anyone ever felt afraid to disclose their disability because their fear of rejection or discrimination? And it's happened more often when it comes to employment. I can tell you Christina did. Now, she had a very hidden disability. And I have a hidden disability. You wouldn't be able to tell from looking at me that I deal with fibromyalgia. My grandfather, of course, was in a wheelchair. You could tell he had a shown disability. I know Christina had a hidden disability, which was her autism and her diabetes, and she was afraid to tell anybody about it because she didn't want people to look at her differently. I know when we got Jordan, I know it was something that was she was excited to get Jordan, but at times she was apprehensive to get him because when we're taking the service dog out, now her disability isn't hidden, it's right out there. And I remember somebody when Jordan was with my parents and Christina, and they went to some kind of museum or something like that. And somebody ended up making a very, very uh, unpleasurable remark to say, well, service dogs are only meant for those people that can't see. Um, and uh, it was not okay because Jordan made such a significant difference in our lives and in our family. Um, I think uh, when she was younger, yes, um, she was afraid to kind of say anything um, because she didn't want to feel, she wanted to be fit in and have everybody see her as just one of the people. Um, I know with her employment now, she's told people, she's had to tell them she's a diabetic. She's had to tell them that she has autism. Now, the one job with the horses that she's currently in, and she called me up yesterday. She goes, Mom, it is so cold because it was cold yesterday in the barn. Um, Actually being able to disclose that she had autism was actually a help because the one lady said it's one of the reasons she loves to hire people that are on the spectrum like that because they take such good care of the horses. And guys, it shows when you go into this barn. I said to her, you can just see that these horses know that they're going to get lots of love and so forth, and they look out for her. It's just it's amazing to see. Um, but I think yes, and I think with our kids today, I think we need to get more to be able to surround them. If I can find this girl, she's wonderful. I'm going to be seeing if I can. But she's on Facebook. See if I can. I forgot what her name was. Let's see. I have to remember what it is. See if I can put it. She's got so she was just her story is pretty amazing. There's another one that talks there's another gentleman and um her what was it? Oh, here it is. Her name is Candy Lee Kind. I love it. She is she is just she is this and she has started she does artwork on her shirt and I thought it was so cute. And there's another guy on YouTube, he and his brother, and they have started and if you think that you're gonna have a bad day, go look at them too, because what a joy. I'm gonna share her. I don't know if she's on YouTube or not, but she has a website. Let me see if I can copy it so that you guys can go if you wanted to share profile. Here you go. She is just it was like I love seeing that kind of stuff. Candy Lee. I have to look at how to spell her name. But there's another gentleman on YouTube, and I'll see if I can pull up. And him and his brother, I'm telling you, you think if you're having a bad day, go look at them because I just make you smile. They absolutely just make you smile. So I'm going to put her chat in. I found it on Facebook the other day, and she's just the sweetest thing, and she has a little shop, and we need to, I have to remember how to spell it, because it's a weird saying and I don't know where they got it, but I have to remember how to do it. Oh, it's universe, it's not that. But I'm thinking, if you're having a bad day, you're not going to have a bad day when you see these two, because here it is. Unbelievable. I don't know where they got the name from it, but him and his brother, it's just, I think we need more exposure. If we grow big enough, I'd love to be able to get him and his brother on, his family on, because I think snowing in Georgia. Yeah, we haven't had any snow. It's not snowing. This is the other. It's Safari University. Universe. We haven't had any snow since Sunday, but we've. It's probably less than it was now. I was going to see if I could go out. Well, we hit it, guys. Do you not see what it says? 0. 0. Word 0. Feels like -10. And it's going to get colder. It's going to be below 9 degrees. And tomorrow it'll get up to 8. So it's not snowing, but it's cold. I can actually put it in the chat. Yep. We hit the 0. It's actually snowing in Florida. You want to put your thing in and find out what your temp is. You can do that. Yep. It says -2, but on my thing it says 8. It's cold. So anyway, but I think we need to find more of these type of individuals to support. We need to come together and put our differences aside and take the time to get to know each other. We are not, and I'm just going to say this right off the thing. We are not coming into this chat no matter what happens over the next 4 years. And I'm not going to sit here saying which side of the aisle I voted on either. We're not doing that. We're not going to come in here and bash one side or bash the other. We're going to be respectful of both sides. We're going to keep this space political free. There will be times where we may come together and have a discussion on our devotions live, but if that's not something you want to participate in, you don't have to participate in that. But when we do lives, for the most part, we're going to keep politics out of it. We're going to be respectful to each other, because anything that makes people come in here and have divisive happen, it's just not happening here. There's enough out there in the world, right, where people divide because, well, you believe this and I believe this. Or you voted for this person, so I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Guys, I can say that's happened in my own family. And it downright just sucks. It is the most hurtful and painful thing that I have had to personally go through, because of the beliefs differed and we couldn't find common ground. And it just, to me, it's utter nonsense. I'm sorry, it is. Because at the end of the day, we can always find common ground. Just an update. and I kind of been struggling a little bit the past couple of days. Um, Patty is really having a lot of difficulty. Um, she's hardly able to eat. Um, she gets too nauseous by eating, and she says I don't like to drive anymore. Um, I think that there's going to be time where maybe the lack of being able to eat is going to get her before the cancer finally does. Um, and I have had to resolve the fact that I have had to make the prayer lately that says, Lord, don't let her suffer. If it means her going home, then let her go. Um, so be lifting up. If you're a praying person, lift up her daughter, lift up Patty. Uh, it just, that was a text that kind of came over this weekend, and the other part of that leans to me to say that it makes it very hard because the person that has chosen to not talk to us since last December, I think, you're going to allow Patty to leave this world with this divide happening. And it's not necessary, guys. It's not. There is nothing that you all with each other cannot find common ground on. Now, I can say this, there are people in our lives that may be toxic to us. Okay. For example, I probably would never be in any kind of relationship very much except if my daughter and that person were having a good relationship, and they're not. Uh, and that is my ex-husband. I would talk, I would be as pleasant as I could, I'd be as respectful as I could, but it's not somebody that I would like to want to jump on the phone and try to find common ground with. There's Christina, that's our common ground. Anything else than that, I really don't want anything, much of anything. But there are people that are in our lives that we've had to, say they're not healthy to be in our lives, and we've had to either cut ties and remove that for our own mental well-being. And I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about there's going to be things over the next little bit that people are going to differ on. And if you differ on them, agree to disagree, move on, and say, where can we find the common ground in? Because we can find common ground in anything. Maybe find a hobby, maybe find crochet, maybe find this. Go do something in your community. If both of you have a passion for helping people who are homeless, then go ahead and find common ground, right? Go find people that you could maybe go assist or help or do something with. Maybe if you have a passion for kids, maybe see if you could go volunteer someplace where you can do that. Um, Go find something to put your energies in to that you all can build a thing if you all have something passionate about that. Maybe you love to cook, so maybe look into doing maybe the lasagna love thing. Maybe if you go to your church and you kind of have a little different opinions here and there, maybe you can come together on something. If we find things that we have common ground in, we can come together even if our views differ a little bit, because that's the important part. The difference in of opinion, eh, don't hold it to here too long. We need to get our kids in front of people and expose them to people that are dealing with certain disabilities like autism and Down syndrome, and so that they can start understanding how to interact and that they're no different than you and I. They're the same. They can accomplish the same exact things. And boy, do we need to surround the parents that are dealing with these special needs children with a lot of love and support. I have a big compassion in my heart for single mothers because I was there. I done that for 7 years. Women that are leaving, and it happens on male sides too, um, uh, that are leaving abusive situations. That's one of the things we talk about here because I've been there. And if you say, "Well, I've never been in an abusive situation. I've never had that." No, but you may know somebody, and if you understand what the psychological point of it is to leave, you'll understand it better. Because to a lot of people, when they have, it happens a lot more to women, and when they're in a situation of abuse, trigger warning, they sit there and say, "Well, why, just leave." It's a lot easier said than done. So if we understand why and the whole dynamics around it, we can understand it a lot better. Um, we can understand, well, I went back 3 times. I should have left, but I still went back. Um, and we need to understand that. So I'm going to encourage people to start maybe getting involved in some channels that are talking about things like we tend to talk about on here. My Other's Keeper does a lot of wonderful topics too, as well, and you'll be redirected over there. Um, because I think that it's really important that we get to understand that. My husband has um, what's called Klinefelter syndrome, and he's had that from birth. And he's talked about that on My Other's Keeper, and to a lot of people, be like, well, uh, that's not something that I'm going to ever run into, and you probably won't. It's a very, very rare genetic uh, thing. But you know what? If you can understand it a little bit, or listen to it, as well as other issues and so forth, you can. I think it exposes you. It opens your view a little bit more, right? And we can all find common ground. And then if we grow from common ground, we can grow a lot more, right? But we have to start somewhere. So maybe if somebody that you've been trying to find something. Go out to lunch and sit down and talk with them and say, where would be our common ground in? These are things we're going to disagree. We're not going to agree on. We all have family members, right? All family members would go, the stuff we don't talk about, we don't agree on. But y'all have common ground. We have to find the common ground, and then we have to grow from that. And if you find the common ground, what happens then is magic. Because if you can put aside the things you disagree with that person, or things that you're going to disagree with that person, right? Then you can take the time to get to know them. When we invest time into that person and get to know them, it takes 200 hours. Remember that, 200 hours to really honestly to get to know somebody, to see if they're going to be, you know, what they're all about. And if we realize if we take the time to do that, and we maybe put aside the things that we know we're just going to agree with, and we start taking the time to find things we can come together on, we can agree on, we can have common ground on, then the other things that we maybe disagree on are going to go off a lot smoother to maybe discuss and maybe find little points, okay, about those things once we've gotten to know the person here. I know I had a very, very, I had an opinion on, you know, marijuana. Didn't agree with it. I've changed my opinion over the years because I've seen what it does to help people that are dealing with PTSD, dealing with like what Tommy has to deal with, dealing with pain and all that other kind of stuff. I still think we have to walk that line carefully, um, because I think underneath medical conditions and so forth and certain things, it is extremely helpful. I've changed my opinion on that over the years, but we can we can change our opinion and maybe someone has more insight on that, right? Than I do. Hi Misha, how are you? Right? Insight than I do. So I can learn from that. I can see that and say, okay, well, maybe you have more insight over here about this so we can discuss it. I'm willing to discuss it and see maybe where I don't see something. There are certain things that I can say, you know what? Those are not up for discussion because I'm not changing my view on that. But I can still be respectful. And so we've got to find common ground first, put aside the things that we're just going to know, we're going to disagree with, and then find the common ground first. And by doing that, we're going to get to know the person first. And then we can maybe start bringing some of these things over here and say, you know what, we can start discussing them here, right? We can start bringing them over and discuss them. And then if we're just going to sit here and argue back and forth or just never agree on them, then let's put them back over here. Because you know what? We've got this stack of things we have found common ground in versus finding this stack of things we're not going to find common ground on. And we spent all this time fussing over this when we really have this much in common. And I just think that we've got to stick together and realize that we're all here for one goal. And that goal is to surround ourselves with love. Our goal is to come together and be here to support each other, whether it's something good or something difficult or in the middle. And we have to learn, even if it doesn't affect our lives, even if whatever we're going I don't deal with somebody on the autism spectrum. I can guarantee you're going to run into somebody that does. I don't deal with somebody with fibromyalgia. You very well may run into somebody. Now, I can guarantee you probably won't run into somebody like Josh who has Klinefelter's. But you know what? It's interesting to learn about what a patient with Klinefelter's go through. And it's we've just got to come together. We got to find the common ground, right? We've got to find it. And so that's my whole spiel. As much of an energy. Do I look as tired as I feel? Over it. I've what happens is my pain was probably sitting about 8 or 9 yesterday. And it's a lot better today, but I'm still tired and it takes me probably about 2 or 3 days to kind of recover. Um, it's miserable. And I'm thank you for all your understanding yesterday. I could not have done I couldn't even muster anything. I was too much in pain and I was too weak to be able to do it. And I feel bad because I know that I would have loved to have been able to come on and give you all a space yesterday. I thank you so much for your understanding. And I appreciate that. I know the daily devotions did not get out yesterday. We had a little bit of a technical glitch. I don't know if you watched the daily devotions from the 21st, which was Saturday. There was a tick, 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 tick noise, drove me up a wall. And we couldn't figure out what it was. And I had recorded 21 and 22. And, hi, another time. How are you? You're cooking and listening. Awesome. We're about almost done, but thank you for hopping on in. I appreciate it. And I couldn't figure out what it was that was causing it. And I was sitting there going, what is that noise? And I looked at the computer and it was having like a little, like the microphone that we have hooked up. I went into the computer settings for the microphone, and I think it hadn't kept it went back to the computer's microphone versus this one, and I think it was competing. So, um, it was driving me nuts. I couldn't use the recording for the 22nd. I had to do it all over again. And another time has been doing a little bit of a series. I've been watching a little bit of it, and it's been talking about living in another time. And I thought about that. And if she ever would love to have me on, I'd love to talk about living in another time. I know it wasn't years ago, but still was back in the 80s. I thought about it the other day. I thought, well, when Josh and I first met, we had the phones, and we didn't have the what was it? We didn't have the FaceTimes, and so we racked up quite a phone bill between the two of us. And then when Christina and Jared met, they met through eHarmony. And boy, did they luck out, because they were 3 hours apart. And when they would go on the FaceTime Messenger, spent hours. There was no phone call, but boy, did we rack up some phone bill, Josh and I, back and forth with each other. I was thinking of that the other day. I was laughing. I thought, oh, thank God we had that by the time Christina rolled out with Jared, because boy, the phone bill that we would have had. We didn't have unlimited moments on our minutes on the phone. I still remember the pagers and the beepers and all that kind of stuff. It's like, boy, oh boy. Yeah, but she's done a couple of them and had people on talking about living in another time. And I thought, we can't forget, how far we've come. We had the AOL. Remember, everybody dialed the dial up, and you need and then dial up for the internet service. You don't have to do that anymore. And it's just, you sit there going, man, we really have come a long way. They have these cars they're coming out with. I don't know if I could ever do it. I really don't think I could ever be in a car, except if Kit himself was driving, which I know it was a TV show. But they have these cars now. I don't know where they are, whether they're going to be rolling out in the United States or whether they're in another country. But they're literally like they're non-driver car, right? And they're like they said they modeled them after what was it? After a stagecoach, after like a horse and buggy thing. And they get in, and they've got a place to charge your phone. They've got 4 seats and everything. They're really kind of cool. I think I sent it to Josh, but I thought, boy, oh boy, they look it's unbelievable to see these cars, and they drive. And it's like, I don't know if I could do that. I really don't know that I could do that. Yeah, Alfonso, the only one that I would let her go on to was eHarmony. Because the one thing about eHarmony was it you had to sit there and go for about 30 minutes to get to the point where you were having people, before they matched you up and so forth with people. And she lucked out, as far as I'm concerned. She got a real good guy. But uh if anybody is going to want to scam anything, first of all, you have to pay for it, and it's not well, like $10 a month. I think it was like $25-$30 a month. Um but uh you have to go through so many questions to get to the point where you're actually, finding out about the person and where you're matched. And the only one I would let her go on was eHarmony. That's the only one I would let her do. And she, like I said, she lucked out. She got a good guy, and they ranked very highly together. And then I said to her, "Listen, I'm paying for it." She asked if she could go on there. I said, "I'm paying for it, and I will know the password." She was an adult, but I said, "I will know the password. I'll check everybody out." And then when she started talking to whoever it was, I remember back in 2000s, I went on there for a while, and I still had to pay for it. So I don't remember it ever being free. But I think it's free, but if you want to unlock the other benefits, you have to pay for it, I think. But I just said to her, I don't know the password, and you know, You have a great day, great day too, Misha. I know the password, and we're going to do this right. And before you start talking to the person, I have to talk to them first. And just as a safeguard, she may have been an adult, but we still kept her. We still wanted to make sure that we had her safe, and that was the point of it. We're going to take a moment and thank our channel members. It's never expected. It is appreciated when you're able to support the channel because it does help us bring some extra content to you. We thank you, everybody, for their understanding and their patience. And then going to get off here very soon, record day 20 and 21. Get that up for everybody, and we'll get back on track, of course, tomorrow. And I totally forgot that we forgot to do Saturday reflection quote. So we'll record that this week. Because we'll get that out on Saturday. So it'll be 2 quotes, but then we'll get back on track. I promise. We're not going to let that slide like it did before. So let's go take a moment and just thank our channel members.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, Hedge Homestead. How are you? So when this ends, this is going to get redirected over to my other's keeper. I'm going to get off of here very shortly and record day 21 and 22, and then I'm probably going to go back to sleep. This frustrates me to no end because this is not me. I don't know if it shows how tired I am, and I'm trying to not show that, but it is. And we'll be putting some Valentine emojis up pretty soon. But I hope I'm trying not to, but I don't know if I don't know if the boat's going to be on later. Thank you. If the boat's going to be on later, I don't know if I'll be on. But another time, if you would, if you would love to have me on, I'd be glad to come on. I'd love to come on any channel. If anybody has any topics that we can discuss, I'd be glad to come on. I really have been enjoying that another time. I can tell you that. Really have enjoying listening to some of the other channels that you've had on talking about different times. I will be on Lewis Sacred Karma on the 3rd, talking about autism, and we'll be having a discussion there. And then Living My Best Life, I think, forgot when it was. Let me look real quick so y'all can see. And then my other's keeper's on, so I'll send you over that way. If you haven't given her a subscribe, please go and do that. Let's see, when am I going to? I'm going to be on Echo's channel on, get that done. And then on Thursday, we'll maybe do something. Maybe get Mr. Bless to crochet. He won't come on, but he'll maybe come in at least be on for a moment, because we're gonna his birthday is Thursday, so maybe we can have a little birthday celebration. I will be on the 15th on Living My Best Life, and we're going to talk about service dogs, really kind of talking about how you should be greeting them, how the do's and don'ts, the necessary understanding of that, how you should be certainly having your children interact with someone with a service dog. Sometimes it's more prevalent. I've only been up here for, 2019, and I've only seen a couple times a service animal, and even in Florida, we didn't see it too often. How you should be interacting with them, what you can ask, what you can't ask, just some information on really kind of understanding all of that if you're not familiar. And again, that's another topic that even if you think, oh, I don't have a service dog. I don't ever see service dogs. I don't need to do that. That's another topic that's really good, not only for you, but especially if you happen to see one, you need to be trained if you're with your nieces or nephews or grandchildren or whatever, your children itself, how to be interacting with a service dog so that you're doing it correctly, how to teach them how to do it, and so forth. It's really good to understand all that. It's good to understand, especially if there's some places allow you to bring a dog in, even if it's not a service animal. Um, you need to understand how that may affect the working of the dog, even though they're trained to ignore other dogs that may come in interaction. Sometimes it can distract them for a moment. So if you see a dog, they're of course not required to wear a vest, but if you see a dog and maybe have a suspicion that it is a service animal or they have a vest on, you need to understand that this is not playtime for that dog, and that sometimes having that distraction could lead them away from actually missing a cue for a seizure, missing a cue for a meltdown for an autistic individual. And so you just need to understand all that, so that, because if it's not something you've been around or dealt with, it's good knowledge to have, and it's good understanding to have. And I can tell you the amount of people that just totally missed the mark when it came to service animals were unbelievable. I've got stories. I've got stories. So we will be on her channel on the 15th, talking about that. So I'm going to head off here and go get this done. If you haven't, you'll be redirected over to my other's keeper. So if you haven't subscribed to her, go ahead and give her a subscribe. Anybody that's been in the chat that's dropped, give them a subscribe if you haven't already. It's important. And I can tell you one thing. I will say this. One thing that I have been really trying to do as well is really kind of, if you're a content creator looking to be able to grow your channel as well, another thing to be doing is starting to I go through the shorts a lot, and I will start going through the shorts and going into channels and looking at their channel, connecting with their shorts, going in and commenting on the shorts. My mom does it as well. And then going in and seeing who's commenting in those shorts and starting to find channels. I found some awesome channels that way. Gone in and seen the other channels that have commented, and gone in and found some really neat channels. I found a channel by doing that today. Was it today or yesterday? Because I couldn't do much other than try to distract myself. When I can't pull out my crochet hooks or something, I'm in a lot of pain when I can't do that. But there was a channel. Hi, Kristen. How are you, hon? There was a channel that actually took, can't remember what it is either. And it took these shorts, and it actually took them and it went 1, 2, 3, and it took some of the old things and it turned them into like new, like it replayed them in a new. I have to look for it and find it. Like they took the shorts and they made it so that it looked realistic. Some of the old pictures, and turned it in and made it like the actual car moving, like it was a realistic thing. It was so cool. I thought, this is really neat. What a great way to do it. They made it they made the whole thing, the picture just come to life and all realistic, and it was wonderful. And it was really neat to see that. I'll have to see if I can find that channel and put it up there so you guys could see it. It was really neat. But I found that by going through the shorts and seeing people chit chat in the shorts, and then I would go to their channel and see them and see what they had going on. And I found that channel, and I thought that's really neat how they're taking all these old pictures and making them realistic and new. It was really cool. So, if you're trying to make some other connections, you don't even have to be growing a channel. If you're trying to make some other connections, that's a great way to find a lot of other really neat channels, is by going through people's shorts or people's videos and seeing other people that are commenting and going to check out their channel. And 2, if you're a channel, make a comment because, and I always put new subscriber if I'm a new subscriber, but, then that way other people may come in and, oh, I want to see who Blessed to Crochet is or who Kristen Melinda is or whatever it is. It's a great way to kind of expand your circle and connections. I don't even know how many subscriptions I have. I'm subscribed to. If I can subscribe and help your channel, I will gladly do that. So, y'all, I'm going to head out. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be on the boat. I think what we'll do is we'll plan on Thursday because it's Mr. Blessed to Crochet's thing. And before I leave here, because I don't think I'll be on tomorrow, but this is for somebody in here because I'm going to do this. I know somebody is going to be celebrating a birthday tomorrow. So, Kristen Melinda, this is for you. Happy early birthday, sis. But I'm going to play it for her today. And then on the 23rd, we'll try to do a birthday celebration for Josh. But happy early birthday.
This is my birthday wish for you. That you would never be blue, and may you have a rainbow for every single day, and may every road bring happiness along your way. May love be yours to have and hold, and may you never grow old. May every single dream you dream come true. And that's my birthday wish for you. And that's my birthday wish for you.
Kristen, your birthday is really easy to remember because Josh's is the next day. So I will never forget your birthday. And we love you. So happy birthday. In case I don't get to do this, I get to raise it today, right? So we will try to do, hi, Mandy, how are you? We will try to do a birthday. We'll try to do a birthday celebration for Josh on the 23rd. Oh, you're welcome. We love you. If you haven't described or subscribed to Kristen, go ahead and give her a subscribe. I think I'm one away from 13. We're one away from 1360. So if you haven't subscribed to us, go ahead and give us a subscribe too while you're at it. So I'm going to say good night tonight. I am going to go do what I need to and get recordings done. And then I'm going to go off to bed. Again, I'll be back to my old self by Thursday, but we'll try to throw him a little birthday. We'll try to get him on. You think? Maybe if I give him enough. Maybe if I he wants sausage, biscuits, and gravy for his birthday, so we'll record that. So maybe if I give him sausage, biscuits, and gravy and say, please, he'll come on, right? I'm trying. I'm trying. I don't know if it looks. I keep saying to people, do I look tired? I think I do. I'm trying not to, but I'm tired. It'll deal itself out. But anyway, and I said to people, has it gone down since we've been on here? Are we still? No, we're still at 0. Oh, -1. We've gone down a degree. Now we're -1. I thought maybe we'll get it -1 now. But it feels like -9. I wonder if I throw the water out, whether it would do anything. I thought about that, but I wasn't too cold. It's snowing in Texas. Anyway, y'all, I'm sending you over to My Other's Keeper. Please give her a subscribe if you haven't liked her channel already. Love you all so much. Remember, be proud of being yourself because everyone else is taken. I promise it's going to be on a shirt. Soon. It's going to be in March, I promise. Remember, stay connected, everybody. It is so important. And remember, we got you covered. Thank you so much for having us covered. Love y'all. See you Thursday, and we'll try to do a birthday celebration for Josh. Love y'all. Have a great night. Bye-bye. Go see My Other's Keeper for me. Bye-bye.
So proud of being